All right. Truth before the truth. We're going to talk about two random things that are very valuable for probably anyone on any planet with biology on it, especially human. First, here on Earth, uh, they're circumcising at least more than half of the male population. So what happens is that all males are growing up without foreskin on their heads, and you have to uh, you have to break through as a good person for at least a decade before you figure out that you're basically you're in turmoil no matter what. No matter what you do, no matter how much money you have or whatever you do or how strong you are, unless you evolve into a celestial and fly away to a different planet because you're that strong, you're in turmoil because you can't feel that you're circumcised. The head on the penis is a gland, not a gland. That means that it's not a gland anymore, and it's for mating. And you're basically it's active 24/7. And when I rediscovered mine, I have my own term for it. If I wasn't poor, I'd sue for compensation because I've rediscovered it on my own, naturally and obediently. And uh, that's why they call duct tape because it's close to dick tape. Instead of you have an eye. It's in your eye. It's not. You're not you anymore. It's dick tape. That's the main purpose of duct tape is so you can tape your penis shut. I mean, I should show you. Make this video for children on YouTube. If you can see, let's see if you can see. See, I have to keep it shut with duct tape, or I can feel the turmoil. It's constant turmoil. When I rediscovered it, there's nothing you can do but find a way to keep it closed. Now, to regrow it, you have to completely erase your entire body. That means you have to like live in a natural area. You have to live in a natural area with food already provided for you and full-time exercise. Like you have to live in an element to where your entire body is active and like let's say you were thrown through the Bermuda Triangle but sent to like the jungle and you used to live in Alaska. You would have to survive the jungle, and after a couple of years of starving and getting some food to eat, your entire body would be in shape for something else, and it would probably fit back around. But we're in a global attempt to unite, and that's not really possible without financial freedom and starvation. I don't know. However, these guys are regrowing their foreskin. They're probably just growing, and eventually, if the world collapsed and they had to live an actual human life, it probably isn't real. So let's move on to the second thing that we're talking about today. Hopefully, the children, since this is a children's video as well, they're not going to understand this second thing. So every child who's watching this, you're basically not going to know what I'm saying, even if you understand big words and you read books and you know everything already, and your parents are dumb and you're already 8 years old and him or God is telling you everything in your head. In Yggdrasil, the tree of life, there's Heims for every god, and forescythe is why they call foresight foresight. Forescythe is a foresight, but with a scythe, and he's a god of foresight. I mean, that's probably his main power. I don't know details because I pay attention to what it represents. Now that Heim, in a world like us that's scheduled, is absolute power. It's the most powerful control on planet Earth right now in the human or the animal world. I mean, animals and plants aren't even considered. They're just pure innocence. They have nothing to do with anything. We're just a species trying to wake up. And forescythe Heim, there's not even a hell. There's not even a Midgard. There's just corpses at rotting in forescythe Heim, and everything is reaped in time because everything can be called out. From the day you're born, there are people who know exactly what's going to happen to you, and when you die, before you're born, you know what's going to happen. You know how you're going to die. Basically, there is no fate, there's no destiny, there's no nothing. There's just forescythe Heim, who's some god who spent millions of years knowing exactly what's happening to everyone and can see their future. Now we've got movies about that stuff, but this is some real stuff. This Heim is basically a universal constant, just like all the others. You know, Midgard is obviously um, a realm that contains Heims, and wherever realm this Heim is, it doesn't actually matter because here on Earth, none of that stuff is existential because this Heim alone consumes the entire planet because no one is escaping, no one is doing something, but living. You can actually record anything you do as an artist. A you're basically calling yourself out 10 years before, and then you listen to yourself 10 years ago, and you're basically calling yourself out now to end the world right now because it's over no matter what. There's nothing anyone can do but wake up the entire human species. Now see, this second subject children cannot understand, and that's why we have parents. But parents who don't know what a Heim is, it's similar to a home. It's not a realm. It's an entire sense that consumes the entire universe. The entire universe isn't prophesied. Prophesied is like, it's trying to distract. It's trying to You're trying to warn, or you're trying to caution, or you're trying to make some stupid scheme so everyone will follow. But foresight is showing you exactly what will happen. Now, I know it as a fact because I myself have escaped it, and I've actually escaped it more than once on my own, and I've escaped it once through others by their own confession. Everything I remember they said is confessing that their entire life is reaped or harvested by this scythe called foresight, because no one can actually stop everything they're doing and change their entire reality and reshuffle the entire card deck so other people do that as well. Because when you do that yourself alone, all you do is change yourself, and you basically you get re-uploaded into the same thing. Force the entire world is predicted already. They call it that has nothing to do with simulation. Simulation is you simulating yourself, or a simulation from a game called Sim City. That's an entirely different subject that we're dealing with when we're talking about other things in the current contemporary world. This thing is a universal constant. And if you don't pay attention to it, within your entire life, periodically, like you don't notice it randomly, then you'll never notice it, and you're just gonna die. You just think you're mortal because you're in foresights, and the scythe is reaping you because you don't know what you're doing. Because that's what we've done as we're enforcing ourselves to evolve together as one planet. Now, as our only protocol. And this is why this Heim rules the entire planet. No matter what you say or what you do, you get reaped and you're murdered by not obeying what foresight says. Do not do this. Do not continue. No matter what you are, no matter who you are, you cannot do this, because foresight isn't prophecy. It isn't a prediction. It is the exact truth. It is the God of truth telling you that's the exact truth. That's what's going to happen, no matter what you do, except stop it only. That's all that's happening here on earth. And the first subject is basically enforcing it even more, although the intentions are to do the opposite, because it puts you in turmoil, and hopefully the chaos in your body from being numb, you're basically numb, because to ignore that you're circumcised is ignoring that you're in turmoil. So those two subjects, circumcision and foresight. It's one of the two dominant crises here on planet Earth, and the year 2024. Whoever's out there in the galaxy who can hear this stuff or watch it, so I'm guessing that's all. That's the only viewers that I'll have, because no one can press play on someone who who knows exactly what is exactly happening, because they're doomed. They're completely seen in the future dying. They even know that they're dying. They'll even confess it. They don't even know that they're confessing it to me, because they're reflecting me, someone who knows. They won't even remember when they an hour later something that's real. They won't remember something real. They only remember the dumbest, little, stupidest things that consumes their life, that allows them to be completely foresighted. When you're completely foresighted and you show no sign of changing, and circumcision and allowing circumcision is absolute proof of it, then nothing superior actually has to worry about you, except that you're completely brainwashable and you can start murdering anyone randomly. And that's why there's plenty of poison, so they stay asleep, because you know they show no signs of waking up from being foresighted as their own death. They don't have a fate. They don't have a destiny. They don't have anything. Now, there's some special individuals out there who are very angry and are trying to do something, but they ended up jumping right back into not being an individual, and they want a job and a career because they get provided food, and that's only, of course you can be immortal doing that, if you behave correctly, but chances are there is nothing good happening, and you're foresighted. Everything that's available on this planet is foresighted as your death, because we don't have another option other than to stop that. Now, there might be some arguments. There's a bunch of people who eat raw flesh, and they're just going to abuse these cows without expecting nothing to happen but a bunch of people winning and getting rid of the stinky people who eat fucking McDonald's or something. And then you're just gonna start what, evolving the cow forever and eating the raw meat. That's not possible. That's foresighted. That's what you're doing, is foresighted, all, no matter what, because you chose one thing and you're doing one thing only. That's foresighted. Your death is there. Even if it took you 500,000 years to die, you're dead right there on the spot. And the entire world's planning around that. We avoid each other because we know inside that these Heims exist. And this is one of the Heims that is deep within your time of being. Like, we have timers inside of us that we don't know of, intuition, and that's one of the main ones. And So whatever you think you're out there doing, you got billions of dollars. That's just a joke. Anyways, so children, if you make it, I want you to remember about the duct tape, that you can start duct taping your penis shut, but if you don't feel it, it doesn't really matter, because you're numb and you're full of junk food and stuff like that. So you have to be inspired, and you have to wait until until you're resensitized. You know, they cut your foreskin off, and they claim it to be legal because people are not good, and they'll start murdering each other or something like that. That's they have a claim. That's an old claim. Now we can't argue with that, and they can't prove that either. Although we know that that's true after World War One and Two, and everyone just waltzing in there and killing each other. So it keeps you shut down and numb when you're circumcised, and even if you're uncircumcised, we got porno, and then all the uncircumcised people, whatever they've what, I don't know what to say about that. The lucky them, they are lacking a pain. So what? They're living like me, but and then they're eating junk food, so they don't have the numbing agent. They're not numb 24/7, and they're filled with poisons. So they're actually in super turmoil, because most of the food that people eat now, that I've resensitized my own body into a regular, not a regular human, a natural human. Compared to others, I'm a natural human. They're in turmoil. They just don't know it. You're just glitching your mind. You have no memory. You were forced to memorize everything, and I don't need any of that anymore. I know how to do any profession I want. I know how to do all of that stuff. This world is obsolete. I mean, everyone is retarded. If you just knew that as a child, and you knew that everyone's circumcised, you'll know that if everyone woke up that they're circumcised, they would go straight to war against it. And why is that the worst reaction? Because what you would need to do to heal your own circumcision, like I said, is to actually become natural. And a natural human is godlike to any other creature. I mean, unless we all lived like a couple thousand years minimum, humans are godlike, because we tend to everything, and we can bring life to any other species possible. We don't need to eat raw meat. We don't need to eat food full time. We can eat food full time. We can do pretty much anything we want. Um, but anyways, so stop circumcising or circumcise. It doesn't even matter. It's all about our species doing something, except being predicted and harvested like that by each other, no matter who you are. So, truth before the truth. See ya.